You right guys and girls, welcome back to another video of mine on my YouTube channel. You probably heard yesterday, which was, what was yesterday? So it had been 2 days now ago. So that would have been, was it Sunday? Yeah, Sunday. Yeah, so about Sunday, in Paris, Notre Dame was set ablaze. It was on fire. It was like the Tower Inferno. There was over 400 plus people. I wouldn't say it was set ablaze, but it was all on fire. Everything was on fire and stuff. Apparently, supposed accident, but there's still investigations going into it at the moment. So hopefully they get to the bottom of this. I'm just reading on the Daily Mail, and their little title for it is Notre Dame Cathedral cannot be rebuilt in exactly the same way. Well, what's the point of having it there in the first place? Why don't they just put a monument there or something? Because the thing is, people come to see Notre Dame, the infamous, famous Notre Dame, not infamous. Well, technically it would be infamous now because it's pretty much dead now, and it's like it's been set ablaze, so you could call it infamous. That means like something famous, but after it's died. So let's click out of here. So I want to visit. All right. Architects say Notre Dame cannot be rebuilt the same way because France no longer has trees big enough. Trees big enough. I mean, what's the point of trees big enough? Unless it's because of the structure they're on about. Because it's all being made out of wood and they have to use all the wood and to try and get it exactly right. But let's go down a little bit and I'll click all these bloody things a second. I don't like these little pop-up boxes when I'm reading articles. That's really annoying. No, I don't want that.
Yeah, but surely that was Monday they happened.
Alright, stop saying this. Right. So Notre Dame's cathedral roof was built using an estimated 1,300 ancient oak trees. Wooden roof was built with beams more than 850 years ago. So basically that wood's 850 years old, or was, until it's all literally in a blaze. From primal forest due to deforestation, similar trees cannot be used to rebuild the famous ceiling. An estimated 52 acres of ancient oak trees, 52 acres of ancient oak trees were cut down from 1160 to build the roof. And obviously we've got to protect the forestry and all that kind of stuff as well. Notre Dame's cathedral cannot be rebuilt exactly as it was before. The devastating fire ripped through the historic structure because France no longer has big trees enough, experts have warned. Last night's blaze erupted in UNESCO World Heritage Landmarks in the French capital, sending its spire and roof crashing to the ground as flames and clouds of smoke. Well, it was more than clouds and smoke. It was more like, what's it called, mushroom clouds, the way that it was popped up. So much cloud there. To be honest, I think this is the biggest blaze in history. I think, actually, because they had the tower, was it the London Bridge one? It was that, I think that was on fire, was it the London Bridge? Well, it was like London's, something happened I think in London and they had like the biggest London fire or something. That was like probably a long time ago, a few hundred probably years ago and back, or maybe, I'm not too sure when that happened, actually, the Tower of London fire and all that, or Blaze of London. And apparently they're doing Big Ben now. I hope it doesn't happen to that either, because I mean, come on. They're supposed to be doing like sort of refurbishments on that, because they're supposed to be restoring Big Ben in the tower, but they've turned it off at the moment, the clock. So hopefully, fingers crossed it doesn't happen to that, guys and girls, because that's history there as well. Otherwise, you must just kill off all the entire history, which is bad actually, because people like to see these landmarks and all of that. Speaker today, Bertrand de Feydeau, Vice President of the Preservation Group Foundation du Patrimoine, said the cathedral's roof cannot be rebuilt exactly as it was before the fire because we don't at the moment have trees on the our territory of the size that were cut in the 12th to 13th century. He told France Information Info Radio that the wooden roof that went up in flames was built with beams more than 850 years ago from primal forest. Yeah, so basically like sort of dinosaur primal. That means like sort of dinosaur era. One factor that could have impeded the growth of current crop is that so many of the biggest trees in the 12th century were cut down for construction projects. So basically they killed off the projects, the wood, the trees, which is actually a shame. And we'll probably never get any of those big massive trees for the next like 100, 200 years then, I guess. The height of trees determined by a number of factors such as competition from its neighbours, environmental condition, the availability of the right nutrients, and also genetics of the tree. Certain individual trees within a species are likely to have genetics that allow them to grow taller than others. And if you remove the largest trees with these genetics, position, then only the smaller trees are left to pollinate. Another important issue is the large-scale deforestation that took place during this time period. Many trees in the medieval forests of France during the period had been growing since the 7th and 8th century, meaning some of the timber in the destroyed frame and roof were as much as 1,300 years old. Jesus. So we've got to wait for another probably 2,000, 3,000 years until we get some more of those big massive trees. Whew. The deforestation made the reconstruction of such a unique structure centuries later, using similar materials, even less likely. Columbia University historian Stephen Murray told Ars Technica, "You have a stage in France where deforestation was a problem." And let's have a look. Let's get down a little bit further there, so I can't see the rest of that. Was a problem, and these buildings consumed huge amounts of wood. Notre Dame's official website states that even in the 12th century, when the cathedral was being built, the felling of huge swaths of French forests were causing concern during the construction. And it looks, I mean, looking at some of the pictures from the forest and all that, or from the cathedral when it was there, and it looked absolutely looks nice and stuff. It's a shame this whole building's literally damaged now and stuff, and there may not even be a way back for it. The entire frame of the 850-year-old building in the centre of Paris is made from timber from an estimated 1,300 trees used for construction of its beams. Notre Dame is famed for these incredible timber beams and wooden carvings. The characterized the cathedral's Gothic vaulted ceiling, but the inferno, which raged for around 12 hours. 12 hours! Jesus, I only watched it a little bit. I watched, I would say probably the first 2 hours, 3 hours of it. And by God, within just a couple of minutes, that whole building literally was set ablaze. I've never seen a building lit up like a Christmas tree like that before. And it's sad to see something like this going to basically to the woodshed, you could put it. But the inferno, which raged for 12 hours, ravaged the wooden structure of the medieval building. The main spire, which was around 750 tons of ancient oak, lined with lead, lead, collapsed in flames and crashed. Yeah, I saw that. Literally, that whole sort of top bit, literally timbered down, literally like flied down when it was underneath, because I think it was all the wood underneath basically melted or got rotted away with the charcoal underneath, and it just whole lot just collapsed.
It's a good job nobody got injured.
Yeah, well, it's a good job there. It's a good job no one got injured, unless they did get injured, any of them, because that could have been really dangerous if that thing literally landed on top of someone.
We saw it. We heard it was.
Yeah, we heard that no one got killed in it or injured, or at least. The flames crashed through the wooden roof. The nature of the cathedral's timber frame skeleton means that it will be nearly impossible to rebuild it in exactly the same way as before. Well, obviously, so I don't know. What do you guys and girls think? Do you guys and girls think they should just put a memorial there, like basically just I don't know, like take the rest of the building down and just have it sort of as a pathway or something? Or, I mean, obviously people have raised up all the money now and they want it rebuilt. But if it's not going to be exactly the same building, then...
Very sad.
Yeah, it's sad. It's sad. It's sad times for everybody. Ooh, yeah, everybody. The cathedral contains one of the oldest surviving wood timber frames in Paris, involving around 52 acres of trees that were cut down in 12th century. Well, I have no idea what 52 acres are, but I'm pretty sure that's probably a lot of acres or a lot of land of trees that were cut down in the 12th century. So, and they said the other day that it was like 12th century before the whole building. Apparently it took 200 years to build that, guys and girls, and it's just got destroyed within, what's that, 2 or 3 hours? Less than that.
Yeah, nice.
Each beam is made from individual tree, given the lattice of woodwork that makes up the ceiling. It's nicknamed the forest. The trees that made up the roof's wooden structure were cut down in around 1160. Some sources estimate that the beams are accounted for 13,000 trees. So basically they cut down 13,000 trees. Today, only 4% of Europe's remaining woodland is primary forest that have not been touched by human activity. Well, that's good then. Experts say the combination of a structure that is more than 850 years old, built with heavy timber construction and soaring open spaces and lacking sophisticated fire protection systems, led to the quick rise of flames which jeopardized the entire cathedral before the firefighters brought the blaze under control. Once the fire died down, it was discovered the golden crucifix altar of the cathedral were preserved amongst the smouldering rubble. One of the cathedral's most precious objects, a relic said to be the crown of thorns worn by Jesus Christ on the cross, was also saved, along with Blessed Sacrament and King Louis the ninth, is it? Or it's 1X, anyway, I have no idea what the 1X is, but tunic. So yeah, a little bit of like sort of history behind it, guys and girls. Anyway, what do you think of this? Do you think they should keep rebuilding it? Obviously it's not going to be the same, this reckon, because of all the trees and the amount of trees they would need to actually rebuild this up. Or do you think they should put like a monument there instead to replace the entire building, just as a sort of to pay your respects and homage and all that to the building that was there? But I think, to be honest, they should still theoretically build it, but I think it's going to be hard to replicate a same building that is 850 years old. It's not going to look actually 850 years old, is it, if they start building that? Anyway, what do you guys and girls think? Let us know. And also, actually, what they could do, because they got all this modern technology now, why don't they just build, I suppose someone would have had a sort of blueprints on it, sculpture of the whole entire building. Why don't they just get some of the bits and bobs, build it on a 3D printer, and print out the parts, and actually make it authentic, looking exactly the same? Because, to be honest, all this technology now, guys and girls, they can use that with 3D printers. Like, they've done it with people who've lost their limbs, where they could create parts off 3D printers. But get like a 3D printer big enough to surround the entire building, just actually replicate the entire building. Because I'm sure someone probably would have literally scanned that entire building for maybe a video game or something, and still had that there. But anyway, cheers all for watching, guys and girls. It is right now, it's 12:52, 12:55, Wednesday, 17th of April, 2019. I'm just reading this off the mail at the moment. This one here, it's from the Mail, or the Daily Mail, I think it is. Is it the Daily Mail? Yeah, Daily Mail, apparently 3 hours ago. So they reckon it cannot be rebuilt in exactly the same way, obviously, because, anyway, due to the amount of wood. But anyway, cheers for watching, guys and girls. If you enjoyed this episode, do like, favourite, share, comment, subscribe. I'm going to upload some more stuff today of the articles, like from BBC, Sky News, what their thoughts about it as well. And also give my opinion on it. But yeah, cheers for watching. Stay safe. And I'll see you on the flip side, guys and girls.